Now where is Paul is?
पावल अहिले कहाँ छन्?
He is in Damascus now.
उनी अहिले दमस्कसमा छन्.
He is in Damascus. Now, Christians in the city gave Paul advice.
त्यो सहरका इसाईहरूले पावललाई केही सल्लाह दिए.
Paul, now you have changed your religion from Judaism to Christianity.
पावल, तिमी यहुदी धर्मबाट इसाईमा आफ्नो विश्वास परिवर्तन गरेका छौ.
Community now. Your former Judaism people now is hating you and try to kill you.
तिमी अहिले अर्कै समुदायमा आएका छौ जहाँ तिम्रा यहुदी मानिसहरू तिमीलाई घृणा गर्छन् र मार्न खोज्छन्.
Okay? Therefore, it is very necessary for you to visit Jerusalem to meet church leaders, 12 disciples there.
यसकारण तिमी यरुशलेम गएर 12 चेलाहरूलाई भेट्नु एकदमै आवश्यक छ.
And having a good relationship with them.
अनि ती चेलाहरूसँग असल सम्बन्ध राख्नु आवश्यक छ.
Although you have persecuted those leaders, and not only leaders, you have destroyed the church.
हुन त तिमीले उनीहरू र मण्डलीलाई सतायौ अनि मण्डली नाश गर्यौ.
Because of you, all the Christian people have left their hometown and scattered around this up until that Turkey areas.
तिम्रो कारणले सबै विश्वासीहरूले आफ्नो घर छोडेर टर्कीको सारा क्षेत्रहरूमा छरपष्ट भएका छन्.
You will not be welcomed by those leaders. We know those leaders will not welcome you.
हुन त ती अगुवाहरूले तिमीलाई मन पराउने छैनन् र राम्रो स्वागत पनि गर्ने छैनन् होला.
Now you are in the Christian community.
तर तिमी अहिले इसाई समुदायमा आएका छौ.
It is very much necessary for you to have a good relationship with those leaders. Otherwise, you will be in trouble.
अब ती अगुवाहरूसँग असल सम्बन्ध राख्नु जरुरी हुन्छ, नत्र तिमी समस्यामा पर्नेछौ.
Leaders say Peter and James and John, Andrews, all these people are very much unfavor of you, and they will not welcome you.
पत्रुस, यूहन्ना, याकूब, आन्द्रियस जस्ता चेलाहरूले तिमीलाई मन पराउने र स्वागत गर्ने छैनन् होला.
Therefore, it's better for you to visit there and you open your heart and asking for forgiveness.
त्यसकारण आफ्नो हृदय खोलेर उनीहरू कहाँ गएर बरु क्षमा माग्नु असल होला.
This is the way that you can establish good relationship with them. That was their advice.
यसरी तिमीले उनीहरूसँग राम्रो सम्बन्ध स्थापित गर्न सक्छौ भन्ने उनीहरूको सुझाव थियो.
Now, the Bible said that. You see all these stories right here. Christians in Damascus advised Saul, to visit Jerusalem to greet the disciples.
यो कुरा बाइबलमा लेखिएको छ कि दमस्कसमा भएका विश्वासीहरूले साउललाई यरुशलेम गएर चेलाहरूलाई भेट्ने सुझाव दिए.
Paul, at the time Saul, he did not take their advice.
तर पावल जुन समयमा साउल थिए तिनीहरूको सल्लाह मानेनन्.
Why? Bible described this in Acts 9:26.
किन भन्ने विषयमा बाइबलले प्रेरित 9 को 26 मा कारण बताउँछ.
26 said disciples in Jerusalem did not believe his conversion first. They did not believe Damascus event.
पहिलो कारण चाहिँ चेलाहरूले साउलको परिवर्तन अर्थात् दमस्कसको घटनालाई विश्वास गरेनन्.
And also they means disciples. They were so afraid of Saul. He was a killer.
अर्को कुरा चेलाहरू साउलदेखि धेरै डराएका थिए किनकि ऊ एक हत्यारा थियो।
Acts 9:26 said that.
यो कुरा प्रेरित 9:26 मा उल्लेख गरिएको छ।
The Holy Spirit inspired that Paul at that time in Damascus sensed that those leaders will go against him. He knew that. He sensed that.
अनि पवित्र आत्माको शक्तिमा साउलले त्यो कुरा थाहा गरे। यो यरुशलेम जाने असल समय होइन भनी आत्मामा उनले बुझे।
It's not easy to forgive someone, although he became a Christian, but it's not easy to forgive them because the pain was so great.
उनीहरू विश्वासी भएर पनि उनलाई क्षमा गर्ने कुरा सजिलो थिएन किनकि उनीहरूको चोट ठूलो थियो।
They lost 20,000 church members.
उनीहरूले 20,000 विश्वासीहरू गुमाउनु परेको थियो।
So they considered this man is a Satan child, destroying church community. So it was not easy to forgive him.
उनीहरूको नजरमा यो व्यक्ति शैतानिक मानिस थियो जसले मण्डली नष्ट गरेको थियो, त्यसैले उसलाई क्षमा गर्न उनीहरूलाई सजिलो थिएन।
So therefore Saul was reluctant to visit Jerusalem.
यसैले साउलले यरुशलेम जान असहज माने।
As a result, he did not visit Jerusalem.
जसको नतिजा स्वरूप उनी यरुशलेम गएनन्।
Now then Holy Spirit guided him to other direction.
उनी यरुशलेम जानुको साटो पवित्र आत्माले उनलाई अर्को दिशातिर डोर्याउनु भयो।
Over here, instead of visit Jerusalem, then Holy Spirit guided Paul. Bible said he went down to Arabia.
यरुशलेम जानुको साटो पवित्र आत्माले उनलाई अरबियामा डोर्याउनु भयो र उनी त्यहाँ गए।
Paul said that Galatians 1:17.
यो कुरा पावलले गलाती 1:17 मा बताएका छन्।
Paul wrote down that Holy Spirit guided me to Arabia. He said that instead of going down to Jerusalem.
पावलले गलातीको पत्रमा लेखेका छन् कि पवित्र आत्माले मलाई यरुशलेम जानुको साटो अरबियामा डोर्याउनु भयो।
Then our question is, where is Arabia? Arabia, this is today's Saudi Arabia.
अब हाम्रो प्रश्न यो हुन्छ, अरबिया चाहिँ कहाँ हो त? यो साउदी अरेबिया हो।
Paul said, Arabia, Galatians 4:25, he said, Mount Sinai is the Arabia.
पावलले गलाती 4:25 मा लेखेका छन् कि सिनै पर्वत चाहिँ अरबिया हो।
It's a Sinai Peninsula. Today that's a part of the Saudi Arabia.
यो चाहिँ सिनैको क्षेत्र हो जुन अहिले साउदी अरबमा पर्छ।
It's Arabia, Saudi Arabia, and Arabia and Mount Sinai.
यो क्षेत्र हो जुन साउदी अरब अर्थात् अरेबिया वा सिनै पर्वत हो।
But under the Roman Catholics, they thought Sinai is right here. Most of the Bible teachers telling Mount Sinai is right here. But today we have rediscovered the Mount Sinai is right above this peninsula, and belong to Saudi Arabia today.
रोमन क्याथोलिकहरूले चाहिँ सिनै पर्वत भनेर यो तलको क्षेत्रलाई बताउँछन्, तर अहिले यो पत्ता लागेको छ कि सिनै पर्वत चाहिँ यो माथि हो जुन साउदी अरबमा पर्छ।
So now they have changed their theory on the location of Mount Sinai.
अहिले उनीहरूले पनि यो कुरा परिवर्तन गरेका छन्।
So Mount Sinai, today's Mount Sinai here now today's in the territory of Saudi Arabia.
अहिले सबैले यो मान्छन् कि सिनै चाहिँ अहिलेको साउदी अरबमा पर्छ।
At the back of the Bible map, you have, Mount Sinai is right here. This is Roman Catholics around, I would say, AD 300, 400, around that time, they just determined that location is there.
तपाईको बाइबलमा पछाडि भएको नक्सामा हेर्नुभयो भने सिनै पर्वत चाहिँ यो तल उल्लेख गरिएको होला। त्यो चाहिँ रोमन क्याथोलिकहरूले तेस्रो कि चौथो शताब्दीमा सिकाएका थिए।
We Christians believe the location of Mount Sinai was at the southern part of right here, but it's not.
अनि अहिलेसम्म पनि हामी सबै विश्वासीहरूले त्यही कुरा मान्दै आएका थियौं, तर त्यो गलत हो।
Actually, it's now within the Saudi Arabia, which is the northern part of the Sinai Peninsula.
साँचो सिनै पर्वत चाहिँ साउदी अरबमा पर्छ, जुन सिनैको क्षेत्रको उत्तरी भागमा छ।
Saudi Arabian government now just make that area is a sanctuary where no one are permitted to enter there.
अहिले साउदी अरबको सरकारले त्यो क्षेत्रलाई कसैले जान नमिल्ने गरी प्रतिबन्धित क्षेत्र बनाएको छ।
There are many ruins and historical evidences telling us that is the original Mount Sinai where Moses visited.
जहाँ धेरै पुराना अवशेषहरू भेटिएका छन् जसले मोसा गएको पर्वत यही हो भनी जनाउँछ।
It was God's plan to have Saul, instead of Jerusalem visit, went all the way down to Sinai mountain.
यो परमेश्वरको योजना थियो कि साउल यरुशलेम जानुको साटो तल सिनैमा जाउन्।
See that the Mount Sinai is a very special site.
यो सिनै पर्वतको क्षेत्र एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण ठाउँ हो।
Remember that BC 1500 Moses went down there. He went up to the top of the Mount Sinai 2 times.
ईसा पूर्व 1500 मा मोसा त्यहाँ गएका थिए अनि सिनै पर्वतको टुप्पामा उनी 2 पटक पुगेका थिए।
It's the first time recorded right here. Exodus 24:18. 40 days. He received the 10 commandments. Tablet of 10 commandments.
पहिलो पटक 40 दिन जुन कुरा प्रस्थान 24 को 18 मा उल्लेख गरिएको छ, जुन समयमा उनले ढुङ्गाको पातामा 10 आज्ञाहरू पाएका थिए।
Because of the that golden carp story, Exodus 32 story, golden carp story, that was broken.
तर पनि प्रस्थान 32 को सुनको बाछोको घटनाको कारण ती ढुङ्गाका पाताहरू फुटाइए।
Jesus asked Moses to revisit Mount Sinai for 40 days again.
येशूले मोसालाई फेरि 40 दिन सिनै पर्वतमा आउन भन्नुभयो
and gave him that 10 commandments again.
अनि उहाँले ती 10 आज्ञाहरू फेरि दिनुभयो।
That is right here 35:28. There's a second visit.
त्यो दोस्रो भ्रमण चाहिँ प्रस्थान 35 को 28 मा उल्लेख गरिएको छ।
So this Mount Sinai is very much the holy place where Jesus appeared to his special servants for close, intimate relationship and teaching some of the key messages.
त्यसैले यो सिनै पर्वत चाहिँ धेरै महत्त्वपूर्ण र पवित्र पर्वत हो जहाँ प्रभु येशू आफ्ना विशेष सेवकहरूसँग विशेष भेटको लागि देखा पर्नुहुन्थ्यो र केही महत्त्वपूर्ण शिक्षाहरू सिकाउनुहुन्थ्यो।
Around BC 850, Elijah revisited there.
पछि ईसा पूर्व 850 मा एलिया पनि त्यहाँ पुगेका थिए।
35 is conversion. Okay, in 835 he is a Saul. He now went down to here Mount Sinai, Arabia.
अब अहिले ईस्वी सम्मत 35 मा जुन समय साउलको परिवर्तन भएको थियो अनि त्यही सालमा उनी अरबियामा गए।
So that is special place for encountering Jesus, dialoguing each other, receiving a new vision.
यो ठाउँ चाहिँ प्रभु येशूलाई भेटेर सिधै कुरा गर्ने र नयाँ दर्शन पाउने ठाउँ थियो।
Paul stayed there for 3 years.
पावल त्यहाँ 3 वर्षसम्म बसे।
Up until when? 38.
उनी 3 वर्ष बसे भनेको 35 देखि 38 सालसम्मको घटना हो।
Now he was dialoguing with Jesus for his future ministries.
त्यो 3 वर्षसम्म प्रभु येशूसँग उनको भविष्यको सेवकाईको बारेमा पूरा कुराकानी गरे होलान्।
And what Jesus has told him, we don't know, but he got fully committed, okay, and he got good level of future his ministries.
प्रभुले उनलाई के भन्नुभयो त्यो त हामीलाई थाहा छैन, तर पनि सेवकाईको निम्ति पूरा तयारी भए।
At the time he has given up all the Old Testament, their Judaistic way of worshiping God, but new revelation in Christianity. Based on all these new revelation, he was qualified as a Bible writers.
उनले आफ्नो पुरानो यहुदी विश्वास र परम्परा पूरा त्यागेर नयाँ विश्वासमा परिपक्व भएर बाइबल लेख्नको निम्ति योग्य भए।
Everything, intellectual capacity and his understanding and his wisdoms, all these revelations, I would say, have been revealed to Paul during the time of 3 years Arabian resident.
त्यो 3 वर्षको अरबियाको बसाइको समयमा उनले ज्ञान र बुद्धि अनि नयाँ प्रकाश पनि पाएका थिए।
Starting next lecture, then we will see from that on how Jesus, associated with Jesus and Paul, how do they develop the relationship?
अब आउने समयमा हामी पावल र प्रभु येशूको सम्बन्ध विकास कसरी भयो भन्ने बारेमा अझ बढी हेर्नेछौँ।
That story is always applicable, applied to our life and our ministries. That's why we have to study the life of Paul.
यी सबै कुराहरू हाम्रो जीवन र हाम्रो सेवकाईमा पनि लागू हुन्छ। त्यसैले हामीले पावलको जीवनीबारे अध्ययन गर्नु आवश्यक हुन्छ।